Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And you know what they say about karma. Karma's well, you do know what they say about karma, don't you? Well, Ghislaine Maxwell's about to find out. She spent a couple of years in Brooklyn Detention Centre, which truly is an awful place. But now she's moving on up to the country club, Danbury. It's known as Club Fed. It's one of the latest touch prisons in the American federal system, where inmates are given very little sort of intrusion. It's minimal security. It's a pleasant place, I suppose, as prisons go. But not so much for her, because you see, it's filled with women. And women get very attached to children. And one only has to look why Ghislaine Maxwell is going there to realise that she's not exactly going to be flavour of the month. Well, let's just say that there's threats already. Let's have a look at this article. So here's the article. Already, the opening line. She will get the something beaten out of her. Inmates at Danbury Prison, where Ghislaine Maxwell will serve 20 years, are preparing for her arrival, warns ex-prisoner, saying women are worse than men about these kind of crimes. They think of their children. Now, of course, for those who don't know, which is hardly anyone, I suppose, but Maxwell, who was long-time chum of erstwhile P. Jeffrey Epstein, she has been convicted and found guilty of trafficking specifically children for him to enjoy himself with. She's probably joined in. I believe she was involved in some of the fun times. Anyway, she's been found guilty, and I think she's got off very lightly with 20 years. But certainly she got off absolutely lightly by going to Danbury. She should have been held in a max security, sort of heavy duty federal prison, where they put the real nasty ones, because she is a real nasty one. And I can say without fear nor favour, she comes from stock. Her father, Robert the Bouncing Check Maxwell, who was a crook. He fell off his own boat. My arse. Another one who died in mysterious circumstances. He screwed the Mirror Group newspapers out of their pensions and blew it all. And then just disappeared off the back end of his boat. I think he's probably living in Israel somewhere. Who knows? Well, probably not now, but probably sloped off somewhere. No proof of it. He's not going to sue me. But she comes from the stock of crooks, so it's no surprising that she's ended up in prison as well. Anyway, we'll get into this. Maxwell's lawyers have requested that she serves the sentence at Danbury Institute. Far too easy. Former inmate warned the socialite faces potential inspections of a, physical nature from other women. Jacqueline Polveri said Maxwell could clean toilets and eat maggoty food. Want to try going to the NHS hospitals, mate? So Ghislaine Maxwell has been warned she faces getting the S kicked out of her in the prison, where she's expected to serve a 20-year sentence. The socialite's attorney have requested she serves a trafficking term at the minimum security federal prison in Connecticut that served as the inspiration for Orange is the New Black and previously held Lauryn Hill and Teresa Giudice. The facility, which houses men's and women's prison, is known as Club Fed for its cushy programs for inmates, including a wide variety of hobbycraft and music, as well as circuit training, aerobics, and over 50 fitness classes. Honestly, she is getting away far too lightly. She needs to go into a dark, dark hole. But the 60-year-old's hopes of a smoother ride after a horrific 2 years in a Brooklyn detention centre have been derailed by Jacqueline Polveri, who served less than a year in Danbury for mortgage fraud. She warned inmates are already preparing for the arrival of a new famous convict, and the prison will not be a picnic for her, with maggot-ridden food and toilet cleaning duties on top of fears for her safety. Well, good. I'd like to see this word rhyming with itch sitting there and cleaning the dirty crapola off an oily toilet that some 50 or 60 women have just used, on her hands and knees, poking at it, as she's scraping it. It'll help teach her a lesson. Anyway, it comes after experts warn that Maxwell faces constant surveillance because she's a high-profile type of certain criminal, after she reported threats to her life in Brooklyn. Ah, bless. What a shame. She's concerned about someone. Only herself. Not concerned about all those girls that she trafficked. Polveri told the New York Post she will have a rough 6 to 8 months. I've already gotten emails from women who wrote to say they hear Maxwell will be coming this way. They're preparing for her arrival, already requesting that they don't want her in their dorms, and the camp counsellor won't put Maxwell where she is not wanted for fear she may get hurt. Good. Maxwell, who is likely to request a transfer to the UK after serving 3 years of a sentence, gained notoriety for conspiring with billionaire Jeffrey Epstein to, you know what, with young girls. Polveri warned women are far worse than men about this. You have mothers there. They see a white woman charged with a crime like this and they think that any one of their children could have been her victim. She will get a lot of flack. She will get the S beaten out of her a whole bunch of times. Good. I'm not one to get vindictive on the downfall of other people or to look towards Schadenfreude unless it's deserved. And boy, is this deserved. And I hope she has a really entertaining time in prison. She's got 20 years of it, and I hope she's entertained a lot. It'll help concentrate her mind so she can look back on her life and think of the mistakes she made, the many, many repeated mistakes she made in destroying people's lives. The reality star hired a consultant to help set her up with people inside the jail, and she had a mentor waiting for when she arrived. Maxwell's cell will be an 8 by 8 foot cubicle with a bunk bed and 2 lockers with 30... I think they're the reality star they're talking about is Polveri. Maxwell's cell will be an 8 by 8 foot cubicle with a bunk bed and 2 lockers with 30 cubicles in each dorm. Polveri said there are often maggots in the oatmeal and Maxwell could be assigned to janitorial work, meaning she'll have to clean toilets in the morning until lunch. The convicted trafficker, who is vegan, previously complained about the inedible food at the Metropolitan Detention Centre in Brooklyn, but now she may have to eat the same food as every other inmate. Ah, what a shame. Anyway, Maxwell filed more than 100 complaints during a 22-month stay at Brooklyn. That will have made her very, very popular with the staff and the other prisoners. Her legal team claimed a fellow prisoner was offered money to encourage her round the neck in her sleep, and there are also fears she could be ended. You've got to be careful what you say on YouTube. On top of the potential violence from other inmates, she's also placed on a type of watch that Jeffrey didn't get, apparently. Out of concern, she would follow her former lover, Jeffrey, in taking herself out of prison that way. Jeffrey didn't do that, did he? Jeffrey was done in. Sarah Krisoff, a white-collar crime partner at Dave Hickney, told the Mail Online there is no doubt that Maxwell dealt with challenging conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Centre, particularly in the light of the fact she was imprisoned during COVID. Now that she's sentenced, she'll be transferred to a facility for sentenced inmates. Those facilities are much better equipped to handle inmates who are incarcerated for long periods of time and offer a wider array of services, such as educational and recreational programming, and more extensive medical and mental health services. I'm just not going to go on with the rest of it because it's all just crap. But the point is, she is going to a place that she's absolutely going to hate. She will be scraping other people's poo out of toilets for hours on end. And that pleases me no end. She's had a life of privilege, paid for by her crooked father. And now, well, the chickens have come home to roost, haven't they? How the mighty have fallen. How sweet it is. I shall finish and come up. Well, personally, I hope she has a very long stay in Danbury. I don't want her back in Britain. She can stay in America. She's 60 now. She'll be 80 when she's released. That gives her 20 years. I foresee an awful lot of toilets needing cleaning. And I think that gives justice. 2-3 hours a day cleaning toilets for the next 20 years. It's kind of fitting. Anyway, I'm not going to get vindictive. I'm going to stop. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, stay out of prison, and goodbye.